Hi folks, here we are for a little pre-bedtime project. As you can see, I'm in my pajamas, and that's the nice thing about winemaking, is you can do it pretty much anytime you can fit it into your schedule. It just so happens that it's been approximately 3 weeks now, give or take a day or two, since we did our banana wine and put it into the secondary stage of fermentation, where it is in the absence of oxygen under an airlock. So what I've done here is I just hiked this thing up on top, this carboy up on top of a 50-gallon drum here, and that's one thing I would caution everyone is if you're going to be moving these carboys full. This is a 6.5 gallon or about 25 liter carboy. It's very, very heavy. Watch your backs, lift with your legs, and if you've done any research into winemaking, you can see that demijohns, for instance, they come with oftentimes a wicker basket, and then you can use 2 people to lift, one on each side of the handle. That would even be a good idea to get some sort of carboy lift like that. I would strongly recommend that so you don't throw out your back. So anyway, what it is, I lift this up here. As you can see, you have a really deep sediment bed here, and this is probably the majority of this is dead yeast cells. It's kind of gross, you might say. And if the cameraman here can pan up, and you can see there's some stuff kind of like floating and coming up and down. You can see little chunks of this sediment, and that is dead yeast cells. There's one coming up right in there in the middle. What happened was, as I moved this up here, I disturbed it just a little bit, and it's causing things to kind of agitate a little. Also, there are still some live yeast cells in here, so you're seeing a little bit of action still because of the little bit of carbon dioxide gas that's still being made in there. So what we're going to do is I've cleaned up this carboy and sanitized it, just like I showed you before in the video. And I'm in the process of sanitizing this transfer rig. If you're going to use 5-gallon batch, 3-gallon, or even 25 liter, 6-gallon batches, you're probably going to want one of these on your siphon hose, and it's a big straw basically that has a little tip on it. And what this tip does, it keeps it up a little bit off from slurping up the sediment on the bottom when you're going to siphon this off. So I'm just going to break my airlock here. Pull off the rubber stopper, hopefully. Pretty tight in there. Just kind of work it back and forth a little. Kind of hard with one hand. Okay, there we go. I'll set this over the sink. We'll place this down inside without trying to stir it or anything if we can help that. At least not too much. I'm just going to gently let it set in there. And then I'm going to just spritz this on the outside. I've rinsed it off on the inside with sodium metabisulfite solution. Make sure that the whole hose has been sanitized. I washed it with dish soap inside and out, and then sodium metabisulfite inside and out. So over here, I'm going to start my siphon, and then we're just going to let it go into this carboy here. Got myself a little snort of sodium metabisulfite solution. That didn't taste too good. Pretty salty, actually. Making me want to try to cough here. And you can see a little bit of the sediment that splashed on the inside of the carboy as it was hitting the bottom of the yeast bed over here. So let's see if we can move around possibly to the back side of this carboy, can we? And look at the bottom where this is happening. Can we see that at all? Or is it kind of in the middle of the carboy? Let's see. Yeah, we can see it there. Yeah, that's not very good. I shouldn't have, I don't like disturbing that, but we're going to have to just, whatever we can, the minimum is the best we can do. We won't get too shook up about it. And as you can see, down the length of the hose here, we have a good siphon going. It's pretty much running clear after that first blast of sediment that I got, which I don't like. You can see that it's running clear through the hose, and that's pretty good. And if you just kind of back off a little bit there with the camera, you can look at this. This is a thermometer that sticks on the side of the bottle. You can see the level going right down, so we have a pretty good siphon going there. This won't take only a few minutes. transfer this. And what this is just the racking process. When somebody says that they need to rack their wine or they racked their wine, this is what you do. And it's been about 3 weeks. We're racking this, and we're going to remove a whole lot of that sediment by doing this. And you really don't want that sediment. It can impart poor flavors or off tastes to your wine. So we're going to get rid of as much as we can, and we'll let this sit probably another month or so, maybe a couple months, and we'll rack it another time even before we end up doing the final racking and bottling. Now we're back after about 5 or 10 minutes it's only been, and as you can see, most of the siphoning off is complete, and we're coming down to this yeast bed. We're just about ready to be done. And another thing just to mention, and I think I may have mentioned in a prior video, when you're racking your wine, you want to try to put the siphon tube down into the wine, and you don't really want to have it spraying in the water. I think that we're going to just cut this off here because we're getting a lot of dirt, a lot of sediment here. Yuck. Okay, and that's all that she wrote. Now what we're going to do is I have some water standing by. What you want to do is, mine is just sink tap water, but we have a really good filtration system in our house. So you have some water in a jug, a clean jug that's been sitting in the same area overnight as the wine, so it's equalized with temperature. And I'm just going to top this off. I'm going to spray off the bottom of this airlock again, make sure it's... Spray this off a little bit too, it's kind of got nasty. And now I'm just going to top it off by pouring in some fresh water. And you might say, well, my goodness, we're going to dilute our wine so much. Well, wine recipes do have this topping off concept built into them, so I wouldn't fear about that. And we're going to go like that because we still have some active yeast, and we're going to end up with another volcano otherwise. So there you have it. Now we're racked and we're locked and loaded for the long haul for the bulk aging, and this is going to stay in the secondary now for probably another at least 5 months. Most of the other batches I've done have been a full year bulk aging in a big carboy like this. The longer the better. You can age it in bottles, but it works fine in the carboy. And bulk aging will actually get you better results for flavor. We'll see you next time.